All right. Hello, hello. Okay. We are doing the masterclass for this week or community call, whatever you want to call it. Sorry, this is like a day late. I do apologize. I wanted to get this posted yesterday. It should have been recorded Monday. Here we are with life. Okay. So what I want to talk today about is this is more of a mindset, since the master class that I did last week was more of a tool for us to use, which we'd kind of already done. But again, it never hurts to hear something multiple times. So if you haven't listened to the master class, go back and listen to the master class. It's literally, I thought it was great. That's just what I think. So there's also that. So this time I want to give more of like a mindset shift or like a focus question that we can be doing more so than like a tool. Okay. And I really want to focus on fat loss being the how do I always frame this? If fat loss is always the aftermath, it is always kind of the byproduct, it is always the weight loss is sort of the what happens automatic when these other things start happening, or when we put other things into place or make other things a priority. So it'd be weird if I were to say that the moment that you stop focusing on it so much is the moment that it's going to happen. But when we put our focus into the behavior change versus the outcome of the behavior change. So I really want to talk about that today. So a lot of times, myself included, I will get caught up in, and this is where, if you listen to my podcast yesterday, you probably heard me talk a lot about like how this shift right now feels different. And I think it's because I'm more so concerned about what I'm doing versus what is happening on the scale or in my photos or my measurements, even though the photos did hurt my feelings on Sunday. I'm still not going to lie about this and pretend that they did not hurt my feelings, because they did. So, but I also feel like the last week and a half to 2 weeks, I've been doing a lot more, focus, regulating again, because it upsets me. Okay. Focusing more on what I'm like, where is my effort being put versus what is the outcome of that effort. And I think that that is a huge piece to this. Okay. Like a super huge piece. So typically what ends up happening is we wake up, we know we're going to get on the scale, or we should be getting on the scale. We either like start to have anxiety about it. We wonder what it's going to do, right? Everything that we put in my mouth, it's like, oh my gosh, is this going to help me lose weight? Every workout, did I burn enough calories? Or, did I go hard enough, right? The scale dictates what we do throughout our day. I talked about that on my podcast, how it's like literally, it completely shifted my mood that day. You guys look at what I'm drinking water today. This is me focusing on my water. Okay. Literally, it completely shifted how I was speaking to my husband, probably even my kids, but I just really noticed it with my husband, because we went to the gym on Sunday. And so we were chatting and I was just super short with him. I mean, you could say I was a bitch. I was acting like a bitch is what I would do that, right? We're constantly maybe like looking at ourselves in the mirror. Maybe we're trying to pinch. This is something I used to do all the time, is like I would pinch to see if I have less fat than I did, like, the week before, the month before, something like that. Like, what does this feel like in my hands right now? So we're kind of like body checking ourselves all the time. And that's kind of probably the problem. I'm not even gonna say probably. It is the problem, is that we're always constantly wondering what the outcome of all of those things are going to be, instead of focusing on the workout and focusing on, does this fuel me the right way? Focusing on, okay, this is the data or feedback that I'm getting. We're always just trying to like make it mean something. We're always trying to fix it. We're always trying to give ourselves worth from the scale, or tie this to that, or connect all these dots. And that can be really fucking exhausting. So, and that's where I feel like things turn into an obsession. Instead of making sure that we're eating enough and eating enough of the right things, we're focused on, am I eating little enough to lose weight? Am I eating little enough to, get the scale to move, essentially? Am I working out hard enough to burn enough calories? And you cannot sustain a life built off of that. And it's not what we really should have our focus anyways, because of how we, sorry, I need to mute that thing real quick. this is just really, it's not a sustainable way to live. It's just not where the focus of the life should be, because that is always going to have us kept inside of this one little place where life is huge, life is big, life is all these things. Like we talked about, life is constantly throwing shit at us, life is constantly celebrating with us, life is constantly in the muck, up high, we're down low, we're up high, we're down low. It's bobbling us all around, and we're just like over here, like, but I gotta lose weight, but I gotta lose weight, but I gotta lose weight. Okay. And I would say that we don't just do this with our health. You're going to notice like other places you do this. So this is where I have been for quite some time, is a focus on money. Once my husband quit his job, we went from making right around, like, he by himself, this had nothing to do with me, just his income alone was around $140,000. And he went to a job that made 15 bucks an hour and was like barely working. And I was like, and so I focused so hard after I gained all of this weight. I focused so hard on trying to make money. I'm like, oh my God, I have to get more clients. Oh my God, I have to do this thing. Oh my God. And the harder I focused it, I just kept like poking these holes in this like balloon, and it just went slowly, super slowly, like this, right? Instead of like, okay, I need to serve people and help them. Like it switched into this like place of like desperation, just like we get in our health, right? Or how about like relationships? Some people stress about finding a partner. Some people stress about whatever's happening inside of their relationship. I've lived that life for a long time too, right? Instead of being like, okay, what do I actually need in a partner or want in a partner? And what is important to me, so that way I don't like bend and break on my rules that I'm looking for in a partner. Like, I don't want to just settle for somebody. I want somebody to be somebody that I want them to be, or her to be, or whatever that is. I don't give a shit. Right. So we can keep going about all this stuff. Right. But when you start only looking for the outcome, it feels too forced. It's like you're trying to shove the square peg in a round hole, and it's never going to work. It's never going to fit. It's never going to be like, like this harmonious wonderfulness, because the outcome should really happen naturally. It's not going to happen just because you beat it to death like a dead horse, right? Now that I say that out loud, it's kind of terrible. Like beating dead horses, like dead horses in general could be awful thing, but we're now beating them because they're dead. I don't know. Right. So the longer and harder that we chase this fat loss and that scale to go down, right, we become obsessed with it. That's why we have all this food noise. We're constantly thinking about food because it's like, oh, I have to eat the right things. I have to make sure I'm drinking enough. I have to, right. We're building these things so that they just become automatic. Okay. So instead of focusing on, is this going to get the scale to work, or to go down, not work, but get it to move, do what I want it to do? It's like, does this actually support a sustainable life that I want to live? Does this support a life that I'm trying to build? Right. So going and shifting from, I need just to work out to burn calories. Ugh, I hate this. Stay in the call. I need to go change that because it constantly pulls me out. And I don't know why. After like so many minutes, it'll say like, do you want to keep recording? Okay. So instead of going to like, oh, I have to do this workout to burn this calories, I have to do all this cardio to burn calories. I'm not allowed to eat that. It's bad. It has too many calories. This is bad food. This is good food, right? I have to be good this week. I can't fall off. I have to really make sure I'm doing a great job on the weekend. Well, the scale didn't move, so this must not be working. I have to change something, right? Instead of like, I'm moving my body because I need to move my body, because this is actually part of the human like nature of how we were made and built. Like, I just need to move my body. Somebody asked me the other day, actually, in my ladies lift club, she had made a comment about the fact that like, is there some truth to the fact that it's wintertime and we want to be hibernating and eating more? Yes. Yes, there is. Naturally, the way the seasons work, our bodies also understand what's going on. Just like we always talk about, like in the fall, where the leaves, fall and they die. And then, you have this moment of almost like deadness, like where, the trees are dead and the leaves are dead. And all of a sudden spring kind of like, whoo, and everything opens back up again. And you have this, even if you don't live in a place that's like super seasonous, like let's say Arizona or Florida, there are still changes in these patterns that we biologically understand and go through. So when she's like, yeah, I feel like I just want to keep eating. Yeah, because your job right now, per your like natural biological desire, is to hibernate. It's cold out. It's dark out. Your body isn't like, look at me, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, where it's like 50 degrees and you're like out on this really nice walk with maybe just like a light sweatshirt on. You're like, okay, this feels really great. You're like, oh my God, it's balls ass cold outside, at least here in Michigan. It's like -5, -15, negative whatever, and it's fucking cold. And here we are. Does that make you really want to go outside to go anywhere and do anything? Probably not. It also typically makes us want like those more warm, heartier meals to keep us warm. It's a biological thing. So when we talk about like what I'm speaking about, like moving our body, because our bodies were biologically made to move. They were not biologically made to do this all fucking day long. And this is what we do all fucking day long, is sit here, right? Is just sit here. So we want to say, I move my body because it makes my body feel good. And it's biologically what I need. I eat protein because I know how important this is in the process of health. Or and I'm not saying, again, we're not proteinifying everything that we fucking eat. We are just literally going to eat what we need to be eating, right? I show up for myself. I'm a promise keeper because when I do those things, I feel really good and confident in my ability, right? Or my habits are really consistent. And those things make me want and desire to show up for myself, right? So one is chasing this outcome, and one is just kind of living the lifestyle that outcome is going to get to, if that makes sense, right? So like one is just constantly hammering weight loss, scale go down, burn calories, right? Versus like, I'm going to do all these things over here, and that's going to come when it comes, and it eventually comes. Okay. So let's talk about how does this apply to us in real life situations. So it's like weekend plans, or let's even talk about like going out for dinner, because I still feel like this is a crux for a lot of people. It's like, how do I fit this in my stuff? Is this going to ruin my progress? What am I supposed to do when I go over my calories, Bob? Like, these are the constant thoughts. It's like, oh, I can't eat that. I have to eat this. I can't get this. I have to eat that. Right. But it's not so much about that one little moment. Now, if these are constant moments that are happening, or we are constantly eating out, constantly, falling off on the weekends, that's a structural thing that we need to change and become a little bit more aware about what our patterns are on the weekend. But if this is just like, I am going out for dinner tonight, it's like, okay, well, what choice actually aligns with my goal right now? So I can't have everything, but I could have something. So I could have a cheeseburger, maybe with a side salad, or I could get, the salad with, maybe I want a side of French fries with that because I just want French fries right now. And I don't need to have a whole meal to get the French fries. I can get just a side of French fries. And also I don't have to eat all of them. And then we move on with our life, right? And instead of thinking about the scale, right? Oh, this isn't working. I have to change what I'm doing, or I'm doing something wrong, or I'm not doing something good enough. We change that to be like, okay, my body is going to do the thing when it does the thing. I just did a TikTok about this the other day. We do not deserve anything from the scale. The scale does not owe us anything. We owe it to ourselves to show up and do it anyway, no matter what the scale says. Because at some point it's gonna click. It's going to hit. It's going to move, right? But only when you're constantly or consistently showing up in a way that makes sense. So instead of beating it wrong and telling ourselves how bad we are because the scale didn't go down, it's like, I know that I'm showing up consistently and it's going to get there when it gets there. But also then there's that conversation of like, but am I showing up consistently? Am I doing the things to get that consistency, right? We can see this when we are trying to figure out, what even am I supposed to eat today? Like, what is happening? What should I have? What do I need to eat? What do I have to eat? What do I want to eat? And we're running through all these different scenarios in our brain, right? Oftentimes we go to what has the least amount of calories, because that's what's going to align with my goals, is what has the least amount of calories, instead of like, what's going to make me feel full? What has fiber? What am I getting micronutrients from? What has protein in it? Like, what do I actually want to eat? What sounds good? Those things matter so much more, because at the end of the day, you're probably within range of still getting something where it's going to be beneficial on the back end, because you're hitting all those check boxes. You're eating something that's going to fill you up. You're eating something that's nutrient dense. You're eating something that you want. I have been meal prepping like a mother trucker. What is it called? Stir fry. And I've been talking about this. I go on live on TikTok and I show people how I meal prep, and I'm meal prepping for people. So my stir fry today that I meal prep for 3 days is 396 calories, 43 grams of protein, 53 carbohydrates, and 5 grams of fat. Do you see how nutrient dense that is? I have peppers, green beans, broccoli, carrots, and bean sprouts, and chicken. That's what I have with my sauce. That is a nutrient dense amount of food. It tastes delicious. I enjoy eating it. I love it. Why would I not want to eat that? And it aligns with my goals. And it gives me a solid amount of protein. And it's calorie. It's like within a range that makes sense. It's enough calories. I'm not starving myself or way overstuffing myself. It feels good. I love it. Right. Okay. This is a big one. I think a lot of people need to start focusing on, and I'm hammering it home right now, is burning calories in the gym. We are not burning as many calories as what we think. We need to stop focusing on that. And I think part of why, speaking of, I'm like checking my steps as we speak. I think part of why I'm feeling a little bit different is because I'm focusing differently on what I'm doing in the gym. And there's a couple things that I'm changing up in the gym that's making me feel a little bit more, I don't want to say productive, because I don't think that's the right word, but it's making me feel alive and energized and accomplished and confident, even though today I did sled pushes. And I'm going to tell you right the fuck now, I've not done sled pushes at my new gym, and I was very self-conscious doing them. Did them anyways, felt great about it afterwards. They also kicked my ass, to be super honest. And so but it made me feel good. It made me feel something, right? Even though we can't always go based on feelings, but I felt like I did the right things. I felt like I was doing great. I felt like, okay, I feel accomplished. I feel strong. I feel like I could move a whole mountain right now. Is it the truth? Probably not. You know what that's going to do on the back end? It's going to make every other decision that I feel in alignment with that feeling, because I'm like, okay, is this food going to make me strong? Is this going to make me feel good? Does this complement what I did in the gym today? Not calorie wise, but like the feeling of, am I going to be proud? Like I felt there. Okay. So sometimes, yeah, feelings kind of can be, what's a word I'm looking for? I feel like sometimes, feelings can get in the way, and they can cause us to do not necessarily things that are in great alignment with us. But also I feel like sometimes feelings we can benefit from. We can really get off of that piece. So I'm kind of curious, after kind of hearing all of this, I'm curious as where is there a shift that you can make where we're looking from outcome to process? Everybody's like, enjoy the journey. Fall in love with the journey of drinking your water. But like legitimately, right? Because the honest truth is the freedom that we're searching for, this food freedom and this weight freedom and the feeling of like, am I the biggest person in the room freedom, or constantly like pulling on our clothes or wearing clothes that don't fit or all these things. The freedom from that doesn't come from the number on the scale or like how many calories you're burning, right? It comes from living a life where you build the process and it just happens. It comes from the life of where you don't have to really think about things anymore because we've built these habits and you just move on with your life, right? So we have to really stop chasing the fat loss as the outcome and start chasing and living like the person that's already there, that already believes that they're on their way to that. Because the moment that that fire is lit, like that's how I feel right now. The way I feel right now is how I felt in 2016 when I started. I kind of feel that like giddy, like dumb, like I just want to constantly be doing something that's working towards some kind of goal in that realm. Again, it's not even just the gym or food. It could be just like, I'm really focusing on my water right now. I'm really focusing on my breathing before I eat. I'm really focusing on listening to myself. Like all of these things are just happening. And you want to know what? That scale, she's a bitch. She hasn't done shit yet, but you want to know what? She's about to. I know she's going to, not because she owes it to me or I deserve it, but because I'm living like the person that's going to get it. Right? So, where are we making the fat loss, the outcome so heavy instead of it being the byproduct? Where do you fall into this trap? It could be multiple places. It might just be one area. But I'm curious if you've seen this pattern in other places in your life, kind of like I talked about. It could be your relationships, could be your job promotions, something along those lines. Could be what, again, we talked about, your money situation, like whatever that looks like for you. What is that thing where we're chasing the outcome and not, the process of what is going to get us to that outcome? Okay. All right, loves. Mwah. Love you guys. I will see you later. All right, I have to end this. I don't know how to end. You guys get to see all the great stuff.